Thank you. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in. We are seeing few people over there, and we know it's always like better to say hi instead of good morning, good evening. I know it's from different time zones. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get started. Maybe we'll just start off with our basic synapse stuffs and maybe let the others join. Hey, Safina, let others join and we'll just hand it over to Hannah in a few minutes. Okay, so those who doesn't know about the background of synapse, we got you. So it's the basic stuff we got you. Like we wanted to share it with you. It's our vision and our motto, all those stuffs. So our motto is to learn, share, and grow together as a community. We know the power of community, right? So and our vision is like it's a community-driven platform and it's completely free. We have a lot of like-minded people working here, and initially, when we started this, we had the thought process completely to focus on the budding writers or the people who want to have the aspiration to write or to blog about something. We wanted them to come out of the shell, start writing, so they would need a peer review or some kind of mentorship, right? So that was the initial vision when we started this. But when you see right now, it's been like we have total of 30 plus people on board. Like we have 30 plus people, the synapse people who are as part of our total family. And we are, of course, we are growing every day. And right now we are just trying to redefine the definition for creativity, like, and also try to redefine by delivering like a kind of different methods of knowledge sharing, not only the usual writing and the speaking things. We are just trying to come up with some unique ways of doing that, and that is how we landed up, and we started doing very different kind of events. We this year has been really great for us. We have hosted two global events, one meetup, and a parallel learning series, which was a kind of same time you can just learn two tools or two technologies. We just started it off, and Teller of Tales, it's a blockcast, you can just hear it, and the study notes, which is a kind of unique concept where our synapses will like study a tool or kind of software which is useful for the community, and they'll just try to share the handwritten notes, which will be really helpful for the beginners in the same arena. So that was really a big hit, we would say. And so far we have just partnered with partnered for five global testing conferences with other testing communities, because we always believe those that relationship really matters to us. So this is what is all about us. And coming back to the because this is one of a special day, guys. So super reads and sparks, so what is it all about? I'll give you a basic background about the topic as such. Super reads. It's we all know, even from the history, writers are the silent heroes, right? We know they have done a lot of things, and but it is always like they are treated as a silent heroes. They are like somewhere they are not like they are not getting the enough spotlight, we would say, in history. But right now it's all into technical format, and even writing has been into so much advancement, so it is on all online today. What we thought is like for speakers, of course, we know they have lot of forums wherein they can just go and express themselves and prove themselves as a good speaker. But think about the writers or bloggers. For all the day, for all the years, they were sharing all the knowledge which they know to the community. Selflessly they are helping the people. But we felt they need enough support, and they need enough like spotlight which is required for them to shine more or to do more to the community. And that is where the super reads was being created. Last year we did it, and it was really a good hit. So what we thought is like, this is a time for celebrating the people who are trying to share knowledge through blogging or through writing up something. Not everybody is like good at speaking, right? Some prefer to stay low and they wanted to have writing as their skill set. So we thought like this time is going to be like a celebration, especially for testers, and it's not going to be just a contest. Okay, to have a good set of reading, you should have a good set of writing which already some good people have written, right? So that is where this concept really came to birth. And we started as a contest, but right now I would say like it's not a contest. We are having it as a complete workshop. Okay, wherein like we are just trying to not completely reject the people who are just trying to come up with innovative thoughts or their own heart, which they are just trying to write down or pen down their own feelings, right? We are trying to provide a kind of feedback to them. It's like a give and take policy to the community, right? So it's like we are trying to provide the feedbacks, and of course we have a very good set of people who are reviewing it and who are the panel judges as well. With their help we are doing this as a complete cycle. So I know this is a very unique process which is happening on, so that's how we named it as super reads, and technically this is a global write-a-thon workshop, we would say. And Sparks, of course. This is a special part which we added this year. What do you want to know, or what do you want to like listen more about Sparks? Is like, uh, it's a completely tailor-made webinars. We have different set of speakers and different set of topics. We are very sure that you will all love it, and it's going to be like, of course, till December or the November and December, the 2 months, you will be having different webinars, and you will be listening to a different unique topics which is totally tailor made for all of you. So this is what is all about super reads and Sparks. So it is a different attempt for us as well. So thank you so much for supporting so far, guys, and we would need your support till we complete or till we have this entire journey. And to talk about the timelines, of course, we mentioned about it, right? So the webinars, you might have seen the details. We'll try to provide you all the details of all the webinars. And talking about the super reads, what we wanted to do is like, please don't drag it till the last day. Start thinking about your concepts, or just start thinking about what you wanted to do right now. Okay. And just 30th November is the last day. Please don't wait for the last day. Start writing it right away. That's what we suggest, because if you do it in a last day, right, we have a kind of, maybe your article might be good, if there is some minor tweaks or minor suggestions which you have to implement, that will again drag your time. So don't please wait, don't wait for 30th November, start doing it right away. And till 12th December, we'll have the time to review and our top 12 articles, right? That is going to be published, and that's going to stay forever in our Synapse website, and that we call it as Super Reads launch for 2021. And those 12 articles will be published there. And 1st January, you'll be getting the winner announcement. You'll be getting all those prize ceremonies and all those things. So you will get all the details here on. You'll be getting all the details in the chat lively. Okay. And talking about the first session, yeah. So that is why I said today is very special. We are kicking off the session, and you know what? The speciality of this today's session is like the topic and the speaker as well. So what about is that like the topic is like the importance of testers community. We know there are a lot of testers community, or a lot of QA persons are being as part of the communities. Like, and they are growing up day by day. Like, is it healthy? We have lots of debates, of course, going on in that area. But in another way, there are a lot more things which tester community is doing back to the people, right? So we have a wonderful speaker today here. Okay, and the session, the Sparks webinar anthology series is completely going to be kickstarted by our speaker, who is going to be like Hannah. To talk or to give a bit introduction or brief introduction about Hannah. Hannah is working currently as an open source community manager at NGINX. NGINX is a free open source HTTP server, and she holds a bachelor degree in political science from University of California. and she's based on from California. And she also served as a community director for an immersive art community and volunteers her time to manage digital communications for a non-profit that promotes women researchers, healers, artists, and activists. And I know this. She is a strong believer. Like, she believes in diversity, equality, and inclusion, and she believes that that is most crucial for building a genuine community. And of course, she's a very good friend of mine, and it's really a honor, and we are so much excited as you all to hear what she's going to talk or what she's going to share today with all of us. Okay, so I don't want to take too much of time today. Like, I had enough, so maybe you will get all the necessary links in your chat boxes in the window. So keep looking out that. And thank you so much for listening to me patiently so far. And I don't want to like drag so much. Maybe Hannah,
Yeah.
I will just
Well,
give it over to Hannah.
thank you for the warm welcome. That is absolutely wonderful. It is an honor to be here. I love testers. We're recording right now, so I will not say on the record that testers are my favorite, but I'm also not going to not say that.
Okay.
Yeah, let me get this presentation up and running. New technology. This is a really cool platform too. Yeah.
Wow, this looks so
So,
cool.
yeah, I'm a little bit biased. I'm a community manager and I see the value in community for absolutely everything that we do. I'm a very communal person. I love relationships and have learned a lot over the last few years as a community manager about why community is important in the professional realm as well. We think a lot about community in terms of our friends and family, maybe our religious groups, our sports, things like that. But when it comes to professional community, it's really there if you learn how to take advantage of it, tap in and participate. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about why community is important, how to participate in community, how to build better community together.
Sure, Hannah. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'll start with a bit of an introduction. Priscilla just gave me the most wonderful introduction, so thank you. I don't have a ton more to say about that, but yeah, I'm the open source community manager at NGINX. So as Priscilla said, NGINX is a web server, can be used as a proxy for caching, load balancing, runs about half of the applications on the internet and most websites at this point. And it's open source, so anyone can contribute. And I just started this week. This is my first week at NGINX. And so long way to go. But if you're ever know any DevOps people or want to try your fancy in that, let me know and we can get up and going on that. And so for my background, I was just the technical community manager at Postman last year and this year. That's how I met Priscilla. And it's where I got to know a bunch of testers. If you've used Postman before, then you might know it as a testing tool. It's also an API platform. Full lifecycle API management is the goal here with it. So also working with software engineers, and I came from Kong before that, which also had more of a DevOps audience. So really getting to spend the last couple of years getting to know testers, getting to know the tools that testers use and how people participate in community has been eye-opening. And again, I won't say on the record that testers are my favorite, but I also won't not say that. So these are some big general observations. Again, when you're making generalizations of any group, that can be true for some individuals or not. But some observations that I've made about testers in general. The testers that I know are really collaborative. You focus a lot on co-creation because you work as part of a whole. You're not just writing software and saying, okay, good luck, let's try it out there. You're not just, working by yourself kind of in a marketing headspace. You really have to work together with a bunch of different people in the organization and working on projects together. You're building collaboratively by nature. I love the curiosity and thoughtfulness of testers. You have to find so many different ways to actually, test and do QA. You have to put yourself in different mindsets. And what I've seen from testers about always learning, trying to find these ways is Really inspiring. I love that. Create with curiosity. And you have a level of empathy and connection that I see, especially in testers, that I don't necessarily see in other segments and personas, where you're really kind of having to connect with the users and the creators and put yourself in different mindsets to see how would people use these things. And that's really special, and I think something that lends itself well to tester communities. So what the heck is community anyway? It's a bit of a buzzword, honestly. People like to say, oh, this community and that community, some of which, of course, are communities. But the way that I see it is that being community is being with people who are connected through a greater interest, with support and acknowledgement of our individual humanity. So we're all here today because we love testers or are testers and writing, and kind of see the value of being part of a community here. But we're also individuals, you know? Priscilla's got her whole life in humanity. I've got my whole life in humanity, but we're coming together on this to support each other. And so community is more than a network. It has some symbiotic relationships. It's more meaningful than transactions. It's not just, you know, I'll help you, you help me. It's we're here together to help each other. And it's a connection to a larger whole. You're not just off in the corner by yourself over here. There's a whole group of people here who are here together for this meaningful purpose. And so who is part of a community? If someone says the testers community, who are they referring to? Who am I referring to? Well, spoiler alert, it's you. If you are here by nature, then you understand a bit about why community is important. You're working together on this writing, you're showing up for this webinar anthology, you're in the chat together. This is you. And if you don't feel like part of the community yet, well, welcome. On behalf of Synapse QA, I'll take the liberty to say that. And on behalf of other testers, I'll take the liberty to say that too. Welcome. You are part of community, and you're part of my community now, and I'm part of your community. And that's pretty special. So thanks for being here. So I have a couple examples of testing communities that I've gotten to know over the last few years. So of course we have Synapse QA. We're all right here. Wonderful. Ministry of Testing is another big one. So they do a lot of education, events, discussion spaces. They're pretty popular on Twitter. And the Test Tribe, which is the largest community of testers out of India, can be really events focused. So if you're familiar with any of those or participate, and love to hear that in the chat too. So a lot of my observations are based off of what I've learned from these three main communities. So what makes a community healthy? Being positive and supporting each other. That's not to be fake about it. That's not just, I'm only going to focus on only going to focus on what's good. But when we see something we like, we give positive encouragement for that. If someone's trying their best, we give positive encouragement for that. We're here for each other in a way that's lifting each other up. Curiosity, asking the how and the why. So coming at it from, there are so many great brains here, so many smart people. How can we figure these things out together? Why are we trying these things? Staying engaged, having conversations with one another. I see that a lot online in particular. I see ongoing trends and conversations. So there's been I'm sure this has been a talk over the years, but especially on, say, Twitter for the last couple months, there's been a lot of talk about testers versus QA and the terms, and can you actually assure quality and whatnot. And so this is an ongoing dialogue that people have strong opinions about, but are discussing in a way that we're working together for the whole. Community brings people together, so it can't necessarily always be literally together, but across platforms, whether that's connecting on social media, coming to an event like this, it's a way to really kind of build those connections in more just a one-to-one transactional basis. Community is also generous, offering time and expertise. So all of you have a lot of knowledge in here. I'm excited to read what you're going to write throughout this process. And spending the time to work with someone, to teach someone, to learn from someone, that's being really generous with your time. And really the basis of it is learning together. And that's a big thing about testers too, is that curiosity learning mindset. Yeah. So I see the value in community. I'm a community manager though, so it's kind of inherent to what I do. I have a feeling that you get that too, given that you're here, but I'm still going to sell you on why community is important. So my mantra over here is we do better together. Just in general, if we're alone in our corner with our thoughts just spinning in circles trying to figure things out, like you can get pretty far that way, but we do better together. And one of my quotes is, my favorite quotes is that we all do better when we all do better. And so we lift each other up. So what can we do with community? Why does community matter? What is community and the activities we can partake in? Well, community gives us a chance to learn. So there's so much knowledge that can be shared. Sharing that knowledge. So once you learn something, kind of paying it forward towards the communities that you're learning from as well. You know, I definitely have some things that I would love to learn that I'm sure you know, and likewise, I'm excited to be sharing this with you. It's also coming to new understandings of things. You might think that you've kind of grokked something, that you have a concept of it, but then learning from community and hearing more context, hearing it from other people's words, you have a deeper understanding of the core concepts and of the larger picture. It also gives us a chance to improve ourselves, whether that's our soft skills, you know, learning how to communicate, learning how to work with other people, or our actual technical hard skills. There's chance for code review, for example, or just, you know, having someone to bounce off of, you know, not just being alone in your corner. And a sense of belonging. I don't know about you, but I always feel more connected and better when I feel like I belong somewhere. And again, this is a big warm welcome so that you're part of the community. And having a sense of belonging leads to a sense of psychological safety that allows us to be our better selves. If you're not worried about where is my place, if you know that your place is here and held with community, then you have the chance to shine and be a better person. And likewise, supporting each other. You know, we've all had bad days at work, and having someone that we can just message and go, oh my goodness gracious, and get a little pep talk from. Or, you know, most of us, I would say all, but hopefully not all, experience imposter syndrome sometimes, feeling like, am I good enough? Am I doing this right? And having the support of someone to say, yeah, actually, you are doing this right, and I've learned from you, can really kind of help pull us up when we're feeling insecure. So what can you learn from community? Education is a really big part of it. And so you can learn actual hard testing skills. You can learn things on automation, how to be a better tester on a day-to-day, really just get those technical skills in. You can learn knowledge, you know, gain knowledge about different practices, kind of more of a whole understanding with thought leadership. You can learn about new technologies. So if there are new tools out there, if there are, you know, different languages that could be interesting to learn. You can learn how to explain concepts. And so that part's actually really difficult. If you're trying to explain something to someone and teach someone, being able to learn from others and learn how to learn is as equally important as how to explain. So that'll be great for teaching others in your career, helping manage, explaining the importance of things. So talking to stakeholders, for example, learning how to communicate to different people in the organization about why you have to say what you have to say and why that's important. And describing your work so that people understand what you're doing, people understand the importance of what you're doing and see the value in it. Community also allows us to build connections and to get to know one another. That can be really useful from a friendship level, as well as for when you're going to expand your professional network, if you're ready to look for a new job and whatnot, as well as finding your place. I come from a marketing background, and I did not like marketing. That was not the right fit for me. And so when I found developer relations, which is the foundation that I'm part of now, it really felt like finding my place and my people. You know, I think marketers get a bad rap, and I love the marketing teams I came from, but my place is in developer relations. And so when you find community and when you learn from community, you can find your place and find your niche. And forming a network. So if you are giving a talk and you want people to come, or you want to hear about talks that other people are doing, or you've won an award and you want to share that, you're looking for a new job, you're looking to hire, these networks are really valuable, as well as getting recognition for your work. I think testers are the unsung heroes. You know, people don't give you all enough credit. Super important. And so getting recognition for your work, both within the testers community and learning how to communicate what you're doing. As you share your blogs and your writing, that's recognition for your knowledge and your understanding and your position in the community. Through community, you can also develop leadership skills. And so you can be a mentor to someone, and you could be a mentor to someone without knowing you're mentoring someone. We all look up to people, and you might have an admirer that you don't know yet. I think a lot about Priscilla and the way that, oh, sorry, I don't want to gush too much, but I think a lot about how people reach out to Priscilla now for help, and for the way that she's gotten to develop her leadership skills within the community too. And so all it takes is just reaching out and starting to get to build that. And that's really empowering when you know how to find knowledge, when you know how to build these connections, when you know how to talk about what you do. That's incredibly empowering for ourselves, both for our careers and our sense of who we are in competency. So how do you find resources in the community? The obvious one is Google. You know, we all live on Google if we're getting a little stuck. But it's really worthwhile to follow blogs. It doesn't have to be a blog with a high follower count. You know, you don't have to read necessarily all of the thought leadership from all of the big names in the space. You can follow someone's Medium blog and just get notifications on, okay, someone tried this. Social media is super useful. Again, that could be following, engaging, just seeing, you know, okay, this person puts out regular content cadence. Like, let's follow that and see what we can learn. Forums, spending time on forums. That one, I think surprisingly few people actually do spend time on forums and kind of digging through answers there. And that's a wealth of information. And you can find templates and code snippets and examples and recipes on a lot of different places. Coming from Postman, I'm a little bit biased of, they have these public workspaces where you can actually share examples and code snippets and leave comments on people's work that they publish. And so if you go in and you go to search, you can find information that way, as well as share it and ask for comments and feedback. So we all have something to learn, and we all have something to teach. I mean that about absolutely everyone, even if you don't believe it, even if you're sitting here thinking, what on earth can I teach? I hope you're not thinking that, because you are about to write some wonderful articles and learn from other speakers here. But if you're feeling any sort of insecurity about that, I guarantee there's something that you know that the rest of us in the room here don't. And something that all of us know that is worth teaching. Community just helps us find out what that is. And so we're going to go over some ways to participate in community now. Obviously, you're here, so again, great job. But find your motivation. So what do you want to learn? Is there something in particular that, you know, skills that you're looking for? Are you wanting to level up on something, learn a new tool? What do you have to give? So for me, I really like supporting people individually. I love hearing when people are about to give talks or are writing something. So I know what I have to give is support from an individual level. Priscilla gives mentorship. I would love to hear in the chat too what you think you have to give if you feel like sharing. Knowing who you want to know is a big part too. Not just, okay, this person has so many Twitter followers, or, oh, they're get so many likes on LinkedIn, but who do you want to know from a human to human level, and why? That's totally worth it. And how do you want to show up in the world? All those motivations it's going to be different for everyone, and they can all be valid too. So, content. Content is a really great way to participate in community, whether that's sharing or creating. Again, as writers, I think you understand that. That could be writing, that could be videos, that could be social posts, that could be tutorials, it could be a hybrid, events. And so my recommendation around creating content is to come up with some sort of concept or just have an idea. There are kind of two branches of content that I see in terms of technical and thought leadership. So your actual how-tos, and then your larger thoughts about things in the context. So with technicals, that could be recipes, tutorials, supplements to documentation. You could say, hey, I found something difficult today and I figured it out. And you can just kind of document basically how you do that. It doesn't have to be super fancy, but something that you say might click with someone else who is trying to learn or have that same issue. Sometimes it's just like one line of instruction and you're like, wow, I can't believe, okay, great. I'm glad I figured that out. You can share best practices and the why behind things. Why do you do what you do? Why do you take different testing approaches? When might that be, when might you choose the best approach for the best situation? That sort of thing. So interacting with people online too, it can be kind of nerve-wracking to put our writing or our videos or our content or our thoughts out on the world, whether that's on Medium or social media, Dev.to, other platforms here on Synapse QA. Like it's personal and it's vulnerable. And so if we see other people sharing their personal and vulnerable thoughts online, engage with it. It doesn't have to be a whole long paragraph about your thoughts on it, but a like or thanks for sharing. Those sort of comments go a really long way. And so just, even if it's not the most spectacular article in the world that you've read, if you see who's posted it, giving that feedback keeps people going. You can also ask questions and follow-ups. If you didn't understand something from a tutorial or a blog post and there's a chance to ask a question, do it. The people that wrote it are there. They want to communicate for a reason and have that dialogue going. So my little mantra on that one is engage. Okay. A little silly. And events. So I have a love-hate relationship for events, skewing towards love right now. And events are more than just going and watching a talk. It's more than just showing up here. This is a really active chat, and so you all get that. I love seeing this as we go through. And you might recognize each other's name down the line. If you don't know each other in the chat yet, well, you might see each other on LinkedIn later or at another event, and you can build those connections. Postman does a live stream every Thursday, and there are people that I forgot don't actually work there, and I don't know their real names because I only see their Twitch handles. And you build that rapport, and it's so exciting when that can cross a different vibe and go into the real life realm. And absolutely, oh, thanks, Sophia. And I recognize you too from the Spark session. This is going to be great. So whether that's virtual or in person, there is benefit to both. Virtual means that, we can show up here at 7 o'clock in the morning for me. I know it's later at night for some of you, and we're still here all in the same space. in person gives us a different tangible feeling. We all have our preferences, but that access is there, and I highly recommend going towards events. And participate in forums. Even if you don't think you have all the answers, that's totally okay. Even if you just ask a leading question or two, or answer, something really briefly. When you're camping and hiking, there's this leave it better than you found it mentality. So if you are camping at a campsite and you see a piece of trash left over from the last person, well, bring that with you, as well as cleaning up after yourself. And so with forums, when I go and participate in forums, I go to ask my question, but then I look and I see, just really briefly, is there anything that I have knowledge about and can answer? And that keeps the whole system going. Yeah, there are also ambassador programs out there. So that could be product specific or tech specific. Again, coming from Postman, I'm biased with the Postman Supernovas, but Cypress.io has an ambassador program too. And so that's a way to share your content, to get to know other leaders in the community, to give talks, events, and build community yourself. So that one's a little bit of a bigger ask, a bigger commitment, but it's a great way to build community. And so how are we going to get stronger? We have these communities out there. Now some ways to participate, and how are we going to build them stronger together? Well, let's look at how we know if our community is healthy. Are people positive, and are they real about it? Are they just saying, oh, that's great, that's great, that's great, without anything to back that up? Or are they realistic about their positivity? Leadership, does it feel like a cliquey club where only the top leaders know each other and no one can talk to them? If so, that's not so great. But if leadership feels, accessible to you, if you feel like you could become a leader someday without this massive amount of, oh my God, am I cool enough? Supportive leadership goes such a long way. And so if you are a leader in your community, just a reminder to especially welcome new people. A community is healthy when there are opportunities for everyone, not just the most experienced people, not just the people that have been in the industry for 15 years and have a chance to give a talk. When there are new opportunities for people that are just getting started, for beginners, whether that's answering questions, having a spot on a panel, things like that, a mentorship opportunity, just a way for people for all levels to participate. And a welcoming community. No one likes a cliquey, gatekept community. If you show up to something and you go to an event and everyone's talking to each other and you're alone in the corner like that, that's not fun. That's not welcoming and encouraging. And so if a community really welcomes you with open arms and says, glad you're here, glad you found us, welcome, that's a great sign. And if you see that in a community, I recommend listening to that. Yeah. And so I'm going to keep hammering this home just because those insecure voices pop up in our heads. Mine was this week actually writing this deck. I'm sure yours might be when you start to write your articles. One more time, I know something that you don't know, and something that I don't know. And the point of community is to share that together. And so welcome each other. That's the biggest thing in terms of building a healthy community that I can think of, that onboarding experience, that welcoming experience. When someone walks in the room, if someone lands on your site, if someone starts following you on social media, actually take the time. Just one message of someone saying, hey, I see you're here, goes such a long way. Just one face to know, one name to know can open a lot of doors. And if you invite someone into a community, if there's a way for you to introduce them to someone else, I got to know Priscilla through the Postman community, and she introduced me to Nathan, who I'm so excited to know now too. And our community is growing and overlapping. Gosh, and that sense of belonging is what's so important. So it really goes a long way just to say hello. Asking for feedback as well. If you're just going forward and you're like, okay, I'm putting out what's going on in the world, ask for feedback about your community. Ask for feedback about your writing. Ask for feedback about whether or not people feel welcomed. Have that dialogue going so it's safe for people to say, actually, I have an issue with this, or reinforcing, like, yes, that went really well. Always learning, always growing, always improving together, and being able to share feedback in a way that feels psychologically safe, where it's safe to do that. You're not going to be scared of retaliation. You don't have to worry about punishment. People are still going to want to hear what you have to say. That psychological safety is so, so important. And share yours kindly. If you, sorry, I skipped right on over that one. If you have feedback on someone's blog post, if you disagree, if you have questions, if you don't like what they had to say it kindly, because there's another person behind there. And assume good intent. There's someone else behind a screen. There's someone else, a whole person behind that face that you're talking to. And so the kindest way that you can say things, lean into that, and assume that people are coming in with best intentions. Social media. This one might seem obvious, but it took me a really long time to get into Twitter, for example. I'm still learning about LinkedIn. But following people, you don't have to be shy about that. You can always mute them later if you don't actually end up liking what they have to say. Sharing people's posts, liking things, just giving some words of encouragement. If someone is giving a talk, just chiming in, wow, this is awesome, can't wait, or, share the recording, or just some sort of general positivity. When someone is going to be posting their articles, even if you don't necessarily like what they have to say or agree with it, we like the fact that they wrote the article to begin with and sharing it, right? So we should encourage each other. And asking questions is huge. That could be starting a conversation by asking a question of, as a tweet, as a post on LinkedIn. If you're gathering information, you could ask that question to people directly. You can ask questions about people's content. And again, these don't have to be deep philosophical questions. You're not having to write a university exam here or anything like that. Just showing a little engagement goes a long way. So thanks for listening to me on this one. And I'm so, so, so honored to be here and to be part of this community now. I am really looking forward to reading what everyone's going to write and to come to future sessions. There's some great speakers coming forward. It's an honor to be part of the speaking cohort. And so looking forward to seeing you on Saturdays to come.
Wow, Hannah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was so, so good listening to you. You know what? The presentation as such was so beautiful. To the visual beautifulness, I would say. The visually, it was a great treat. And hearing what
Thanks.
you say, and especially about testers, you made us all so emotional, Hannah. You made us all so emotional. It's like because somewhere in the technology or in the latest trends, testers will feel like a stranded orphans somewhere. But today
Yeah.
you made us all feel so special, and it's like, okay,
Aw.
come on. A community manager is backing up testers, and why not we have to go and talk for ourselves? You really made us so much good for us, Hannah. Thank you so
Aw.
much. Thank you so much for talking all these things. And you know what? uh, like we know humanity and the community is like a part of like they are like interrelated too much. But when you are trying to explain through your slides, right, it was like, okay, so the base of every community is humanity. So it's like maybe we can write it somewhere. It was so good. The humanity,
Yeah.
the what you emphasized more on, it was so good, Hannah. It was so listening. It was like, how to say, I really, you made me emotional actually. You know what? All those slides. Thank you so much for doing. And you know what? Like whenever I say to people why I like Hannah so much, and now they will all
Oh
understand.
gosh.
Okay,
Oh
why they
gosh.
why I talk all about it. And this video, we are so glad that you picked this topic. and it's going to stay forever, right? So whomever is going to come, or if they have any doubts about community, we will just show them this video. Come on, guys, it's not just community,
Oh,
it's community. You have the power of community. Thank you so much for doing it, Hannah. Thank you so much. I am
gosh, you're
just so
making me
emotional.
emotional.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have some questions, Anna. Maybe shall I ask you a few questions? We have some from maybe I'll start with Mahati.
Oh my
She's,
gosh.
yeah, she's telling like she's noticing yeah, after point time involved in the community, feeling that the community that they are in is not meeting their purpose that time. So what should they, how do they handle this situation?
Yeah. So we all grow stagnant. Our own personal growth can change as well. Our needs might not get met by community sometimes. One way to approach this is to look at, really decide what you think your needs are and identify what you're missing from the community. Is that an opportunity to grow? Have you learned everything that you can so far? Well, taking a look at what you're missing and actually putting the call out there and saying, hey, I want to do more of this. Or looking at what you can give back to your community and getting to know other communities. There's absolutely nothing wrong with outgrowing a community as well. There might reach a point where you've learned everything you can learn when you've shown up as much as you can, and it could be time to either revitalize that with what you're looking for, or move on and remain connected and still be part of your network, but you're also allowed to focus your energy
Mm,
elsewhere.
mm,
So
mm.
here's permission for that if you're ever feeling guilty.
Great, Hannah. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Another question. So this is from Manu.
Yeah. Oh gosh, constant motivation. That that is everyone's dream, right? Communities naturally have lulls. There are going to be time periods where it's a lot quieter, and that's okay. Maybe everyone's really busy with something. Maybe it's around the holidays. Maybe there just hasn't been, fresh new people coming lately. But understanding what people need and their motivations is the biggest part of it. And so if you're a leader in the community and you're saying that people are being demotivated, then finding out what is it that people are missing, just go ahead and ask for it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But in that case, like, how do you motivate yourself? And I'm just so curious. Like,
Yeah, that's a really good question. I motivate myself by thinking of the individual connections. For me, it all really comes down to people. I love what I do in the day to day. Somehow I actually really like making slide decks, for example, which is very silly as a way to, communicate information. I'm thinking a lot about the art community that I used to manage that I have largely moved on from. And when the activities that we were doing were no longer fulfilling my needs, it's those relationships that were. And so I still consider myself part of that art community. I'll still go to events and I'll still talk to those people, and understanding who I want to be connected to and stay close with. Well, I'm still supporting that community from more of a distance. That being said, they're throwing a very interesting event next June back in California. I just learned about it, and that event has me going again. I've taken enough time off that I'm like, okay, I'm ready to be back. So there are ups and downs, and
great.
well, the sun is really shining through.
Yeah. So we have one question from Safina. What's the characteristic of a good community that a newbie can feel attractive to join?
Yeah. Um, the way that I would start by assessing that is, the people that you see in the community, are they people that you'd want to be associated with? Are you proud to say, wow, that person is so nice and supportive? I think a lot about like Angie Jones, for example. I'm not a tester myself, but I'm just like so impressed with Angie and the testing community, for example. Beth Marshall, who's involved with Ministry of Test in the UK, is another person who I follow her on social media. And that's part of why I love testers so much, is just seeing that positivity. But yeah, finding values and aligning. So if the community shows values that you care about personally, I'd say that alignment is a good characteristic.
Mm,
But also note who welcomes you. You know,
mm.
that's really one of the biggest ones is who makes you feel like you belong so far.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, another question from Dominic. What is the best way to create a community within an organization?
Ooh, that
Mm.
could be a whole other hour to talk, Dominic.
Maybe we will park it for sure, but now we can just
Yeah.
mm,
The best way that I would say is start by finding one other person. If you don't feel a sense of community yet and you want to feel one, just identify one new friend. Start from there. Slowly grow. There's no rush for all of a sudden there to be 1,500 people in your Facebook group or something like that. Like community growth can happen really slowly and organically.
mm,
But just identify the key players who are motivated. Again, understand their motivations and
mm,
just start building on that energy together. If it's two people, if it's three people, eventually you'll grow.
mm.
Yeah.
Great. And I believe you answered already this, but again, we wanted to hear it from you.
Oh my gosh, that is not fair. I am totally on the record. Um, Superlatives, I have a hard time choosing the top. I will say the Rust language community.
Hmm.
I don't think that's ever going to be a programming language I'm going to learn. Actually learning the language isn't interesting to me, but I
Okay.
joined their Discord
Mm,
as part of my own research because they're known for being really inclusive.
mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people with different gender identities, a lot of just diversity in that community that seems rather organic. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'd like to learn from that.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I'm now considering myself part of the Kubernetes community because
Mm-hmm.
NGINX, where I work, has hugely involved with Kubernetes. But
And
that's another one I've been a little bit of a lurker on from the outside.
mm-hmm.
It's I can't spin up a container. I'm not going to go off on all of that technical stuff, but I like going to the events and getting to know people.
Great, great,
Um,
Hannah. Thank you so
yeah.
much. Maybe last one from my side. Okay. You know how this pandemic has affected all of our lives, right? So
Mhm.
how do you see the community growth and the people like supporting each other, especially
Mhm.
over the 2 years?
Wow. Okay. Big meaty question. Yeah, I think that these long distance friendships and relationships have gotten stronger
Mm,
as we haven't been able to be close to our loved ones who are nearby as much. You know, thinking about meetups, even for communities, if I can't go to the San Francisco Node.js meetup, something like that, I could attend a virtual one where I'd
mm,
see people all around the world. So when I think about the people that I've personally become close with over the last 2 years, it's been people who are in India, who are in Malaysia, who are in Nigeria, all over. And so I think that's been a big way for distributed connections and that
mm,
power of remote.
mm,
And I think people are also really hungry for deeper connections. If we're not just out and about with everyone available, and we have to be really specific and mindful of who we want to connect with and who we
mm,
want to reach out to, that makes those individual connections stronger and makes us reevaluate how we want to spend our time.
mm. Okay, great. Thank you so much. So I
Yeah.
believe we have just exhausted all the questions, Hannah. Thank you.
Okay.
It's like,
Wow.
yeah.
Thanks for having me. Y'all are so positive. This chat has been so lovely. The questions have been great.
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
gotta come
I
back and
think,
watch the next one too.
yeah, sure. So we are just nearing the end of the session. So it's the usual process. So if we don't have any questions, maybe we will just thank our sponsors. So
Mhm.
okay, so we'll be just so grateful to have all the sponsors. Like, the sponsors make all the event successful, right? So we wanted to thank all our sponsors: Amplitude, XLQ, Lambda Test, Muke Test, and just a minute, maybe. Yeah, it's some connectivity issues. My slide is not loading. Okay. Okay, I have some issues with my slide. So, another gentle reminder for super reads, November 30th is the last day. So, please do start writing, and we would love to hear from you all. So, anything else? So, do we need to share the slides for the sponsors? Just a minute. Okay. I think, yeah, people are just, thank you, sponsors. Yeah. Thank you so much, Hannah. So, if you have anything to just motivate or just to make special about testers, please do keep support us and just show our love all the time. And thank you so much for being part of the great event. And this was a big kickstart for us. So please
I'm so
do.
glad.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having
much.
me.
Then, yeah, thank you so much. Then, thank you guys for joining. Thank you for making this Saturday wonderful. All of you people, go spread back love and positivity. Let's have a great day. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.